Hi, Alex. Today we've got a really interesting topic on our hands. So many of our listeners are eager to boost their English speaking fluency. Where do you think we should start?
Well, Myra, I think the very first step is to understand what fluency really means. It's not just about speaking quickly without pauses. True fluency is about being able to express your thoughts, ideas, and feelings smoothly using a variety of vocabulary and sentence structures.
Absolutely. And one way people often start is by practicing speaking every day. But it can be a bit of a challenge, especially if you don't have a native English speaker to talk to.
That's right. But there are plenty of alternatives. For example, you can talk to yourself. Describe your day, your plans, or even your favorite TV show. It might sound a bit strange at first, but it's a great way to get used to expressing yourself in English.
I love that idea. It's so simple yet so effective. Another thing I always recommend is shadowing. Have you tried that, Alex?
Oh yes, shadowing is amazing. It involves listening to an English audio, like a podcast, a movie, or a news report, and repeating what you hear immediately. It helps with pronunciation, intonation, and speed.
Exactly. You can start with something slow, like a children's story, and gradually move on to more complex materials. And while we're on the topic of listening to a wide range of English content is crucial. It exposes you to different accents, vocabulary, and speaking styles.
Agreed. I listen to English podcasts, watch British and American TV shows, and even listen to English music. It's not only fun, but also educational. You pick up new words and phrases without even realizing it.
And then there's the importance of building your vocabulary. Without a good range of words, it's hard to express yourself fully. How do you usually go about learning new words, Alex?
I like to read a lot, whether it's a novel, a magazine, or an online article. When I come across a new word, I look it up in the dictionary, try to understand its meaning and context, and then use it in a sentence of my own.
That's a great approach. You can also use flashcards. Write the word on one side and the definition, along with an example sentence on the other. Review them regularly, and soon enough, those new words will become part of your active vocabulary.
What about grammar, Myra? Some people think grammar isn't that important for speaking fluently.
Well, I think grammar is like the framework of a building. You need it to construct your sentences correctly, but you don't have to be a grammar expert. Focus on the most common grammar structures and practice using them in real life situations.
Right. For example, if you want to talk about past events, you need to know how to use the past simple and past continuous tenses and practice them by sharing your own experiences.
Exactly. Another thing that can hold people back from speaking fluently is fear of making mistakes. It's natural, but we have to overcome it.
Definitely. Mistakes are a part of the learning process. In fact, every time you make a mistake and correct it, you're getting better. Don't be afraid to speak up, even if you're not 100% sure you're saying it right.
And it helps to find a language exchange partner. You can practice speaking with someone who's learning your native language in return. It's a win-win situation.
That's a brilliant idea. There are also language learning apps and online communities where you can find conversation partners. You can have virtual conversations and get feedback on your speaking.
True. And when you're having a conversation, try to relax. Don't worry too much about perfection. Just focus on getting your message across.
Absolutely! Body language also plays a big role in communication. Maintain eye contact, use appropriate hand gestures, and have an open posture. It makes you seem more confident and engaged.
And don't forget about pronunciation. Pay attention to the sounds of English, especially the ones that don't exist in your native language. Practice them slowly, and then incorporate them into words and sentences.
There are pronunciation apps that can be really helpful. They can record your voice and compare it to a native speaker's, showing you where you need to improve.
Another aspect is to learn common English idioms and phrases. They add color and authenticity to your speech. But don't overdo it. Use them when they're appropriate.
Right. For example, instead of saying it's very easy, you could say it's a piece of cake. It makes your English sound more natural.
And storytelling is a great way to practice speaking. You can tell a story about your childhood, a memorable trip, or an interesting experience. It helps you organize your thoughts and use different verb tenses.
I remember once I told a story about a camping trip I had. I used a lot of past tenses and descriptive words. It was a great way to practice my speaking.
Exactly. And try to expand your answers when someone asks you a question. Don't just give one-word answers. For example, if someone asks, "Do you like reading?" instead of just saying yes, you could say, "Yes, I love reading. I usually read a book every week, and my favorite genre is science fiction because it allows me to explore different worlds and ideas."
That makes a lot of sense. It gives you more opportunities to practice speaking and also shows that you're comfortable expressing yourself.
And let's not forget about role-playing. You can create different scenarios, like ordering food at a restaurant, having a job interview, or chatting with a friend at a party. It helps you prepare for real-life conversations.
That's a fun way to learn. You can even record yourself during role-playing and listen to it later to identify areas for improvement.
Another thing is to set realistic goals. If you want to improve your speaking fluency, don't expect to become a fluent speaker overnight. Set small, achievable goals, like being able to have a 5-minute conversation without major mistakes within a month.
Right. And track your progress. You can keep a journal of your speaking practice, note down new words you've learned, and how you feel about your speaking skills over time.
And immerse yourself in the English language as much as possible. Change the language settings on your phone, computer, and other devices to English. Read English, language newspapers and magazines, and try to think in English.
Thinking in English is a bit tricky at first, but it gets easier with practice. It helps you become more fluent because you don't have to translate everything in your head before speaking.
Exactly. And when you're watching an English language movie or TV show, try watching it without subtitles first. See how much you can understand. Then, if you need to, watch it again with subtitles to fill in the gaps.
That's a great exercise. It also helps with listening comprehension, which is closely related to speaking fluency.
And if you have the opportunity to travel to an English-speaking country, definitely take it. Immersing yourself in the language and culture is one of the best ways to improve your speaking skills.
Even if you can't travel, you can create an English-speaking environment at home. Surround yourself with English books, posters, and music. Have English. Only days where you only speak English, even to yourself.
Another important thing is to be consistent. Practice a little bit every day rather than cramming in a lot of practice once in a while. It helps your brain retain the information better.
I agree, and don't be afraid to challenge yourself. Try to have conversations with people who speak English better than you. You'll learn a lot from them.
Exactly. And if you're in an English speaking class or a language group, participate actively. Don't be shy to share your thoughts and opinions.
And after a conversation, take some time to reflect on it. Think about what you did well, what you could have done better, and what new things you learned.
That's a great habit to develop. It allows you to grow and improve with each conversation.
And let's not forget about the power of positive thinking. Believe that you can improve your speaking fluency. A positive attitude can really make a difference.
Absolutely. If you tell yourself that you're going to be a fluent speaker, you're more likely to put in the effort and achieve your goal.
Well, Myra, I think we've covered a lot of ground today. I hope our listeners find these tips helpful in their journey to improve their English-speaking fluency.
I'm sure they will. Remember, everyone, it takes time and practice, but with the right strategies, you can definitely become a more fluent English speaker.